Bill Gates was recently announced would be getting a divorce from Melinda Gates. And pretty much every day since then, we have found out a lot of really bad information about Bill Gates, about things that he's said, things that he's done, and people that he's spent his time with. And so we're gonna try to cover a few little interesting, terrible tidbits of news. So first of all, Jeffrey Epstein reportedly gave advice to Bill Gates about ending his marriage with his now estranged wife, Melinda. During meetings the two had at the pedophile's Manhattan townhouse, Gates apparently used the gatherings at Epstein's $77 million townhouse as an escape from what he told Epstein was a toxic marriage, a topic both men found humorous. A person who attended the meetings told the Daily Beast, and doesn't that just send a shiver down your spine that Epstein thought that was a toxic relationship that Bill Gates was in. Adrienne, look, there's more that we'll get into, but when the first words in the graphic are Jeffrey Epstein, you know that it's going in a bad direction.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think that man is a judge of anything's toxicity one way or another. And I love this thought that, it was a toxic marriage. Is it like, what, Melinda wouldn't just let you sleep with whomever you wanted? Like, get out of here, go away.
That seems like the subtext of the toxicity, at least. So let me give you a few more details from this reporting. The people familiar with the matter said Gates found freedom in Epstein's lair, although others notably did not, where he met a rotating cast of bold-faced names and discussed worldly issues in between rounds of jokes and gossip, a men's club atmosphere that irritated Melinda. Score one for women's intuition in her evaluation of that men's club atmosphere that they had. During some of the meetings, Gates spoke to Epstein about possibly getting involved with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. A spokesperson for Bill Gates denied the allegations in a statement to the Daily Beast. So as far as I know, that's the extent of the allegations they're specifically denying, not that he had multiple meetings with this guy who turned out was an absolute monster. And notably, Donald Trump, remember his famous comment about Jeffrey Epstein that he likes the company of beautiful women, and he said something to the effect of, and younger ones I've noticed, or something like that. Like there was something about Epstein that Donald Trump felt a little bit uncomfortable about, or at least he noticed that there was something about that guy. But Bill Gates, who was hanging out with him apparently years later after Donald Trump had stopped talking to Jeffrey Epstein, just had a great time with him, thought that he was a fun guy to joke around with and talk about his relationship with.
The thing is, the man had already been facing charges. So it's like Bill Gates has no question about who he is when it comes to Epstein, and the fact that he still wanted to spend time with him. He was consulting him, talking about what international issues, what international sex trade. Like, come on. It's like Bill Gates knew exactly who Epstein was, and yet he still decided to spend time with him. That would make you think, why? What about Epstein made Gates think that this man has something that he wants? And on top of that, it just, Gates is a really intelligent and very smart man. So that tells me he wasn't just oh my gosh, how did I get here? No, he knew better. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah. And to that end, we're gonna go into a couple of the other allegations, but really fast. Someone had the quote for me. Moose Loosley says, he likes beautiful women almost as much as I do. Some tend to lean on the younger side. And I will just say, you can do your own independent research. We talked about in the past, but if Donald Trump thinks that the people you're attracted to are too young, I mean, that's like a guy who runs a foot fetish site being like, that dude loves toes. It's a bit much, honestly. But Bill Gates didn't notice anything wrong with this, apparently. Okay, so other allegations. On Sunday, the New York Times reported that Gates allegedly made advances on women who worked at Microsoft and his foundation while he was married to Melinda. The Journal followed up with its own report revealing that Gates resigned from Microsoft's board in 2020 amid an internal investigation into an alleged sexual relationship with a company engineer who came forward in late 2019. And Adrienne, what I've noticed, and obviously you are among other things that you're an expert on, exactly situations like this, the reporting about Gates seems to fall into the, hey, he was just kind of awkward. Like he's a nerd. He didn't realize what he was doing was wrong. What do you think about that? Is that a fair assessment?
No, not at all. This is a trend that we often see in media when it comes to wealthy, prominent men, generally white, involved in some kind of sexual misconduct. Media will kind of portray it as the, oh shucks, he didn't know better. Oh, I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. Oops. And it's unfortunate because that is really taking away the power of the person in terms of they knew what they were doing and their responsibility and accountability for their actions. And that needs to change because, again, Bill Gates is a very smart man. If he was pursuing a subordinate, that's abuse of power, putting that individual in a position where they have to decide between, maintaining their economic independence and maybe possibly entering a sexual relationship with their superior who gets to dictate whether they move up in their profession or the trajectory of their career.
Exactly. And that should be so obvious. You're Bill Gates. Oh, poor you. You don't get to hit on your engineers. There are I've looked into it. There are people who don't work for you, who don't whose future career is not dependent on whether you give a thumbs up or a thumbs down. There's so many other people, and you're rich. Like, you can fly to other places to find people if you want to. Like, all of these are options that are available to you, but they seem to prefer this sort of predatory, like, this is an area. It's kind of a prison. I've got power over you. I'm going to use that. And by the way, I know some people have been saying a lot of this information does seem to be coming out right after they announced they're being separated. Maybe this is just Melinda trying to hurt him. Okay, maybe, but that is not the same thing as the information not being true. I don't know. What do you think?
Oh no, of course. No, this is a product of the fact that they're in divorce negotiations. And so I'm sure, speculatively, that Melinda's attorneys and her PR team are connected. And because, hey, it's like, do you want these stories to stop coming out? Okay, well then you're gonna agree to my terms and what I want. Because clearly she's been keeping his secrets for quite some time. So hey, why not use them as leverage to make sure that I can walk away in good terms? And just something I'd love to say on the back of what you had just said in terms of these men essentially pursuing people in their own lair, it's like they're shooting fish in a barrel and then claiming to be bass masters. That's exactly what they're doing. It's a complete and total power play. And it's really very pathetic because you're absolutely right. They could go out in these streets and try to hustle and talk to anybody, but instead they decide to go to people who are in positions that are beneath them and who are afraid, and to some extent, to upsetting them because they might lose their economic independence if they reject them or turn them down.
That is a great point. And I have not heard that expression before, but I am very much a fan of it. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.